Shalom, shalom.
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 First and foremost, giving all praises to Yahweh,
Yahweh
Hashem,
Hashem
Shalom.
Yahushua.
Shai.
Yahushua.
I want to say shalom to all the elders in the Yakyum. Through thy precepts, I get understanding. Okay?
Khan.
And today we're going to go into a topic that's going to parallel between the past and present and current future state of the habitable earth, particularly, or Snagya, particularly in the United States of America. Now, back in the 40s, during World War II, and if you didn't know, America's entry into World War II was allegedly forced after Pearl Harbor had happened down in Hawaii.
Mhm.
And the U.S. president at that time was Franklin D. Roosevelt, and he had an executive order which was numbered the 9066. We're going to go into that history a little bit and how it parallels past, present, and future because the scriptures say what? There's no new thing under the sun. Actually, let's start there. Could I get Ecclesiastes 1, chapter 9? Because King Solomon told us the best that what? There is no new thing under the sun.
Absolutely. Hey, Khan. And can I add that? I mean, look, through the spirit, look how they numbered it. 9066. Zero, you just take that out, and the 9 and the 6, they're interchangeable.
Come.
And that's 666.
Executive Order 666.
Right? You say you want Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, right?
Come.
I got you. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that have been is that which shall be,
Right?
and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
See, there's no new thing under the sun. Is there anything under the sun that you can say is new? Nah, I
Nope.
mean, no. Everything is refreshed. The
Huh?
ornaments in the sky go round about the circuit. Everything on the earth is refreshed. You know, not only are people refreshed and reincarnated, but also what? Philosophy and history repeats itself. That's even a saying in this world. Go ahead.
Huh? Is there anything wherefore it may be said, see, this is new.
Right?
It have been already of old time, which was
They have been
before.
already of old time. That's why we have the scriptures in our hands, all the accounts of the ancients, man, and what they had to deal with. Go through the same stuff.
Huh? Huh? It have already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things,
Right?
neither shall huh? Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after.
With those that shall come after you. There's no remembrance of former things, man. Okay? We'll go into this article. This is Executive Order 9066. And it was penned in February 19th, 1942. And it reads, the executive order issued by the U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, which granted the Secretary of War and his commanders the power to prescribe military areas in such places and of such extent as he or the appropriate military commander may determine, okay, from which any or all persons may be excluded. While no specific group or location was mentioned in the order, it was quickly applied snagi, to virtually the entire Japanese American population on the West Coast. Now, particularly, why did it happen on the West Coast? That's where Hawaii is near there, and that's where Pearl Harbor was attacked on December 7th, 1941. They had a whole movie about it starring my man. What was my man, bro, that played in that? And he was also in Boys in the Hood. Can't even think of his name right now.
Oh,
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Exactly, Cuba. Cuba
Mm-hmm.
Gooding Jr., man. And it says in the days after the Pearl Harbor attack by the Japanese, on this, which was one of the major Axis powers in World War II, on December 7th, 1941, suspicion fell on Japanese American communities in the Western United States because why? They feared that they were going to conspire with the Japanese and that they had plants inside the U.S. to, have further attacks going on. That was the whole basis behind this executive order to put the Japanese Americans in internment camps. That was the whole premise of it. The U.S. Department of Treasury froze the assets of all citizens and residents, aliens who were born in Japan, so they froze all their assets, man. Why do you think, by the way, Esau, side note, wants to make all this currency digital? Because they're going to
Con,
be able to what? It's going to be a lot easier to take a man's assets away if it's all through a cloud-based system. That's why cryptocurrency is becoming a type of phenom on the earth, but they don't realize people are willingly giving over the little power that they do have to barter to this beast system
con.
willingly. Okay? It says, and the Department of Justice arrested some 1,500 religious and community leaders as potentially dangerous enemy aliens, man. And an alien is what? An outsider. Okay? But what
Mm-hmm.
we're going to understand is that they were doing this to people that were born in America. Now, they tell you if you're born in America, your nationality is that you are an American, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me also think of what? Hurricane Katrina down there in New Orleans when that happened. They went from one day being American citizens to the next day being refugees. So that's showing you that this man does not care about you, yeah? And if any guy got a
Mm-hmm.
precept, just bring it, just let me know, we'll bring it out. That shows you what? That this man has no love for you, man. He's your
Right.
enemy,
That's
wholeheartedly.
right. Right. Yeah.
Uh,
And I do have a precept, man.
Go ahead, I.
Yeah, this is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
Never trust thy enemy, for
Simple,
like
right?
iron rusteth,
See,
so
simple,
doeth
right?
his wickedness.
Never
Con.
trust your enemy, okay? With anything. You can't trust them to feed you, clothe you, because as we're going to read, all of that was stripped away by the
Right.
Japanese. They took that away from the Japanese by throwing them in these camps.
Con.
Right.
I got a precept too.
Go ahead, I.
Con, this is Jeremiah 25. I'm going to start at verse 27. It says, therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall. It says, and rise no more because of the sword which I will send among you. And it
Mm-hmm.
shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and ye should be utterly unpunished. It says, ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth,
Mm,
And that's
save the
one of the
Lord of hosts.
mm.
and that's one of the sword judgments of the Lord. That sword, what does that represent? Warfare. The Most High
Right.
sending enemies to besiege you in your land. One of the
That's
major
right.
judgments that the Lord has always recycled, because the Lord, He said, "What I change not." Okay,
Right.
Yep. And there's always a prophet that's going to prophesy before all this goes down. That's what we're doing right now, because
Right.
we've been ordained to come into this and do this work. So we're going to see this war crack off, as we know it's in the prophecies. Like the brother's been saying, we already know it's all in the it's all in the book. It's all in the scriptures. We got the
Mm.
game plan at the Most High. So the
Con.
Lord always
Con.
warned our people, and now they're going to be caught up in all this, you know.
I'm gonna keep
So,
reading. It says,
yep.
because many of the largest populations of Japanese Americans were in close proximity to vital war assets along the Pacific coast. See, they're trying to justify why they're doing it. U.S. military commanders petitioned Secretary of War Henry Stinsman to intervene. The result was Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066. Now, the American president will tell you he allegedly has power to pen executive orders when there's three branches of government: executive, judicial, and legislative. And this executive order came straight from Roosevelt's desk in D.C. to attack the Japanese American population that was on the West Coast or the Pacific Coast.
How
And it
wicked
reads,
is that,
yeah,
right? And all you Moabites, man, and Ammonites, man, and all of y'all people of Asian descent, man, y'all still love this country after what they did to y'all ancestors, man. Y'all still cool with Esau? Of course you are. I see y'all devils holding hand in hand all the time.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, they got reparations after that war. Ain't that funny, huh?
come.
I saw it. Yeah,
And it says within a week, the Nisei, in which that's that's second generation Japanese immigrants, because you had immigrants that migrated from Japan, and then that second generation was the ones that were born over here, and allegedly are supposed to be citizens, but it didn't matter to Roosevelt or anybody else sitting in the Oval Office. Hey, guess what? You might as well have been flying them planes and dropping bombs on Pearl Harbor yourself at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they looked at you. Now, why are we bringing this out as a parallel from the past, present, and future? Because not to get too far ahead, but they had a Patriot Act, which that happened over 20 years ago, where what domestic terrorism is becoming a thing now, right?
Right.
They'll call us and label us domestic terrorists. That's why they have us on things like the Southern Poverty List and all these hate group lists. They've been on our behinds, man. And pretty soon, what they'll do is pull the trigger. And yo, the scriptures tell you what some of you they shall cast into prison. So we got to be ready for this stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
Okay.
It says within the week, the U.S.-born sons and daughters of Japanese immigrants of Southern California's Terminal Island have been ordered to vacate their homes. You see that? Ordered to vacate their homes, leaving behind all but what they could carry, what they could carry on their back. There's like some Nazi Germany action.
Exactly.
How they said right, Anne Frank and all that lie, by the way. But what? Taking them out their homes, forcing them to leave everything. And yo, you only carrying what you got on your back.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
This is Luke chapter 12, verse 58. When thou goest within thy adversary to the magistrate, as thou art in the way, give diligence that thou mayest be delivered from him, lest he hale thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and the officer cast thee into prison.
Right.
Yep.
Come.
Right, Con.
And the officer casts you into prison, man.
Peace up.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Hey, can somebody give me the etymology of prison?
Come.
Con.
This is Jeremiah 46. I'm gonna start at 24. It says, "The daughter of Egypt shall be confounded; she shall be delivered into the hand of the people of the north." It says, "The Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saith, Behold, I will punish the multitude of No, and Pharaoh and Egypt with their gods and their kings, and Pharaoh and all them that trust in him." Because
And all
our
them that
people,
trust in him.
exactly.
And it said what? The armies of the north. What was that? Jeremiah 46 you read?
Yeah, Jeremiah 46, 24.
Yeah, talking about the first beast, man.
Con. You want this? You ready for the etymology of the word prison?
Yes, sir.
Con. Etymology of the word prison says place of confinement or involuntary restraint.
Involuntary restraint, man. See, involuntary. Nobody want to walk inside of a prison. You think the Japanese wanted to walk inside these internment camps, and that's just a nice way to say a prison house, bro. You know,
Con.
I got another
concentration
precept.
camp. Go ahead.
It's Luke chapter 21, verse 12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues, unto prisons, and being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
See that being brought before kings and rulers for the Lord's name's sake. Now that's going to be in righteousness, man. We gotta be
Right.
ready to what? Take a guillotine for this truth. We gotta be ready to put our life on the line very literally, and understand that that'll be a righteous death, man, with some
Con.
purpose.
Yeah. Con. Absolutely.
I'll keep going on this. On March 2nd, 1942, and again they moved quick because what? Pearl Harbor got bombed December 7th, 1941, and they already penning this thing into action. Not even what 2 months later, so it can
Right.
happen that fast. That's what Jake don't understand on their knees, man. These American fools out here. All right. When I was
Mm-hmm.
walking around downtown, and all they're doing is they're just soaking up sun and having fun, thinking that life's sweet, not realizing that this can happen very quickly.
Yeah.
Snowball
Mm-hmm.
effect.
I got a preset for that
All
one
right. I
too.
got a precept. Oh, I was just
Go
about
ahead,
to say I
go
got a precept too.
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was
Yeah.
about to bring out. I was gonna bring out Second Ezra 15 and 17. Um, a
Hey,
man
Con,
should
let me
desire.
say. Hey, go
Go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead then.
Oh, okay, Salakia. This is Second Ezra 15 verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You know?
Come.
Con. That's
And
right.
men shall be afraid, bro. Sorely afraid, man. All the mighty men of war, all the mighty men being made as women in travail.
Right. Right. They gonna fear. Absolutely. I want to back up what you were saying a few minutes ago. Uh, well, just now, actually. This is
Come.
First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then then Salakia, then sudden destruction cometh upon them." And this
Come.
back up what you just said, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Con.
And they shall not escape. And we keep going on this.
Right.
On March 2nd, 1942, General John Dwight, the Army's administrator for the Western United States, issued Proclamation Number 1, which established Military Area Number 1. See, breaking the country up into regions, man, so it's easier to control. The western halves of California, Oregon, and Washington, as well as southern Arizona, that whole area. And Military Area Number 2, the remaining areas of those 4 states. Dwight issued a series of subsequent proclamations that clarified that all persons of Japanese descent would be removed from the entire state of California and the remainder of Military Area Number 1. So you just had to be a Japanese descendant. No matter if you were born there, young, old, whatever it was, they was going to take you based upon your ethnic background. And it reads, Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9102 on March 18th, 1942, creating the it's like the War Relocation Authority,
Mm,
a civilian agency tasked with speeding the process along. See, they wasn't playing games. A few days later, the first wave of executees arrived at Manazar Relocation Center, a collection of tar paper barracks in the California desert, and spent the next 3 years there. See, they were locked up
wow.
for 3 whole years in there, man. Not
Mm.
knowing
Con.
where they was going at, leaving everything they had behind. Right?
Right.
America
Right.
wants you to forget this happened.
Hey, Khan and Salakia, can I add this? And
Yep.
see, these other nations outside of Babylon, outside of America, they haven't forgot about this. They hold things like this over America's head, especially countries like China and Russia and Iran. They'll call
Right.
America on stuff like this, man. And this part of the prophecy that John the Revelator saw in Revelation. So I'm gonna read it. This is
Come.
Revelation 17 and 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire."
It's
For
right, man.
Yahweh, Khan, go ahead,
Oh, Snotty, go ahead, brother.
Khan. I'm gonna read verse 17 too. It says, "For Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled." See, it's only for a certain period of time they're gonna agree with this beast, but the
Yep.
Most High putting it in work to where they can start to hate this whore for all of the abominable things that she's done in her past.
Can I say this? Because when you go into Book of Daniel's and all that fourth beast, man, it's like everything is gonna transpire, and that domino effect is gonna come right back on that fourth beast. You know what I
Right.
mean? Times 10. You know what I'm saying? Give unto her double. You know. So
Hey, Con. Hey, and I got a precept just to back up what you said
can I
because
bring this out real quick? After you make your point out.
Con. This is Revelation chapter 13, and verse 5. It says, "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months." Salaki, that's not what I wanted though. Hey, go ahead and bring your precept. I gotta find mine out.
Okay. It's Jeremiah 48 and verse 8. It says, "And the spoiler shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as the Lord hath spoken." So we already know what this devil has prepared and set, and we're reading an article as an example of what's intuitive to come in these near days, you know, as we've been speaking, being in this truth, as you know, it's gonna be future prophecy that we're waiting on. You know, it's gonna be like a woman with birth pains until that baby's born. We're gonna get to see the baby slip right out of that womb, you know.
Right. Hey, because it tells us in Second Ezra that he can hold back a
It's
woman, man. If she,
Salakia, your call, but there's a lot of noise.
yeah, that's right.
Hey, Salakia, if y'all heard that, y'all.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah, but it also tells us in Second Ezra, I think that's chapter 5 or chapter 6, that who can hold back the woman when when it's time for her to give birth? Nothing can
Hmm.
stop it.
Yep.
That's how the Most High is. You can't stop him, man. When he ready to pronounce his judgment, it's over for this place. But
Come.
this is the precept I wanted. This is Revelations 13 and 12. I'm gonna start at verse 11 though. It says, "And behold, another beast came up out of the earth, and
Yeah.
had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon, and he exercised all of the power of the first beast before him, and
Hmm.
causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast who whose deadly wound was healed."
That's
Right?
wrong. Now that, oh, it's not. Go ahead. Go ahead. Break it down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the Roman Empire, and what this beast America did is Rome all over again. She
Yep.
exercises all of the same authority and power, just like the Roman Empire. That's why they got a Senate,
Exactly. And that's the
for
part of those
example.
two horns. Those two horns. First was the House of Representatives, and
Right?
you got the Senate. Huh? Okay.
Absolutely.
And what do?
Yeah.
They play. They act as if this is a democracy when it's not. You know, this place is ran very uh, crucially by it's a dictatorship. You know, and that's why it says two horns, two horns as a read again. Two horns as
Khan.
a dragon, but a spake as a lamb.
That's
Hmm.
right. Khan.
They
It says,
tell you
"Behold,
what.
another."
They tell you come over to America and live the American dream, and guess what? People that come from everywhere, the islands, Japan, Middle East, the eastern part of the world, they come over here and they realize they've been lied to. And America is nothing what it's advertised as, man. But they're
Nope.
speaking as that lamb, but
Right.
got them two horns like a dragon.
Right.
Precept.
All right.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm gonna
When you,
continue to read after that. Go ahead, Al.
oh, okay. This is Second Ezra chapter 16 and 2.
Right.
Gird up yourselves with clothes of sack and hair. Bewail your children, and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A
Right.
fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?
See that it said plagues are sent amongst you. In Revelation 15, it tells you that the Lord has had 7 plagues that's going to plague this earth. And Revelation 16 explains them all, man. You know?
Con,
But who shall turn it back when the sword is sent upon you? The Lord is whetting his sword in the heavens spiritually, getting ready to release them seals and them plagues, man. We'll keep going on this.
con.
It says ultimately the number of internment camps expanded to 10, and more than 110,000 Japanese Americans spent the remainder of the war in them. See, people don't understand when war is declared, that's a completely different time. You know what I'm saying? A time of peace and a time of war, as it tells you in Ecclesiastes, those are two completely different times. When a nation declares war, it's not the same rules enacted. You know, you're going to have
Mm-hmm.
things like martial law. You're going to have things like executive orders. Life's not going to be as it always has been. We've been in a time of peace, so called, because we had this fake war, this proxy war in the Middle East with the so-called
Mm-hmm.
war on terrorism, where they're fighting a boogeyman opponent, the Al Qaeda and all that nonsense. But the third world conflict, before your house shy comes, you're going to see people really mounting up. They're going to, I perceive, they're going to enact a draft once again and all
Con.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, con.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say this, Ak?
Go ahead.
Remember the Avengers when Thanos, when he declared that the war and destroyed everybody, and at the end he sat down and was chilling.
Yeah,
It's like there's a time of war and there's a time of peace. You
kind
know,
of.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it says they spent the remainder of the war in them. In December 1944, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in ex parte mitsuendo, I believe that's in Latin, that it was beyond the power of the War Relocation Authority to detain citizens against whom no charges of disloyalty or subversiveness had been made for a period longer than that necessary to separate the loyal from the disloyal. Hey, and I'm telling you, past, present, future, they're going to have internment camps, and there's going to be different areas of people to go to. One area might be for people that can get re-educated into the new world order system, and that's down for it. And then they more have camps where people just getting their heads chopped off that are not going to be submissive to this new world order system coming. And
Right.
Lord willing, if we got to be in them, we ain't going to be in fucking re-education camps. They're just going to have to cut our heads off, man.
Right.
Right.
Salakia. And that that gonna show some. They're gonna show a lot of people's true colors and the truth also, man. 'Cause a lot of people
Hmm.
gonna break.
Thank you.
They're gonna
Yep.
break in them times.
How about all these How about all these brothers and sisters talking about I ain't getting vaccinated, but pretty soon when these jobs rain down and say you can't clock your ass in without a vax, we'll see what's going on, man, with people.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I got a precept too, real quick, Barbecue Shaw.
Go ahead.
This is Matthew 24 and 21. And it says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as has not seen from the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Right?
Con.
Exactly.
Yahweh Shah.
Yep.
Telling you that in that day, it's going, man, it's going to be bad. It's going to be like something we've never seen. So absolutely, I agree. They may reinstate the draft.
Con.
You
Can I
know?
say this? Because how everything transpired in ancient Egypt for our ancestors, right? It's gonna be at times that we ain't never seen. The lambs coming back, and look at all the capabilities that all the nations, including first and foremost Esau. So it's gonna be pretty dramatic. You know,
Con,
everything we done seen in movies and TV. The Most High is gonna be able to pull the curtain and let us realize and get to see the unseen for once. You
Well,
know,
Lord willing, we're gonna be the ones that fight, man. Fight to
con,
the Let me get Sirach, chapter 4:28.
can I bring this precept?
Go ahead, Out.
Con. Jeremiah 50, I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, declare ye among the nations, and publish, and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken.
Mm.
Bel the dragon, Merodach, is broken in pieces.
And
Her
that was ancient
idols.
Babylon. Them ancient Babylonian idols. Where are they at now, by the way? They're gone. So that's
Con,
showing you the parallel to this beast. Once it's gone, man, it's gone. In the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna have no remembrance of this place.
con,
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother.
con. It says, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. It says,
Mm-hmm.
for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which
Ooh,
shall make her land
Ooh.
desolate, and none
Yeah.
shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart both man and beast. It says, verse 4, in those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, and go weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God.
man, they
Con.
should go and seek the Lord their God, man.
Right.
And right now we're seeking the Lord's face via what? Through the precepts.
Precepts. Not
That's where the
precepts.
Lord's face is at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And his
I got
face is shining upon. Go ahead, brother.
kind of slacky. I got one more too, just
Yep.
because to parallel that with we have all these different examples of the ancient world and these different kingdoms. Like we just said, Wisdom of Solomon, there's nothing new under the sun. And speaking personally against Esau, Jeremiah 49 and 17. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at the plagues thereof.
And hiss at the
Con.
plagues thereof, man. Just like in Revelation 18, the merchants, the ships, the
Mm-hmm.
shipmasters, they're gonna cry for this beast because that's how they're
Right.
making their money.
Hmm.
That's right.
This
Because
money
this is what
making.
we're dealing with. We're dealing with the fourth beast, and we're reading about all the ancient examples of different kingdoms, but it's going to happen to Esau double times, 10 times.
Con.
Exactly.
And can I add this? Like he was reading in Jeremiah chapter 50, right, about that nation that came from the north against Babylon, right? But that's the same way that nation's going to come against America in the end. The Most High going to put the hooks in these nations' jaw, pursuant
Hmm.
to Ezekiel chapter 38, right? Going to bring
Con.
these other nations against her, and they're going to burn her with fire.
The
Yep.
Lord changed not. Let me read this real quick. This is the book
Con.
of Ezekiel, chapter 26 and 7. For thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will bring upon Tyrese
Mm,
Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king of
mm.
kings from the north,
That's
Con.
right.
with
Con.
Con.
horses and with chariots and horsemen and companies and much people. The Lord changed not. Mesopotamia was north of all them
Mm-hmm.
nations, man. Went right
Right.
down, ransacked Israel, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
guess what was north of that? The Medes.
Hmm.
Right. Persian
And
Medes.
guess who's
That's
going to
right.
be a big
Absolutely.
player in this fourth beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Russia,
Gog and Magog. Yes.
China.
Right. Iran
Hmm.
Russia in
and
the
Russia
north.
from the north.
Hmm.
Lord change not.
Yep.
Right.
Cold War action.
Cold War Act. That's right.
Con.
Um.
I got that Sirach for you too if you still want it,
Oh
King.
yeah, sir. Let me get that, bro.
Con, this is Sirach chapter 4, verse 28. It says, strive for the truth unto death.
Lord says, strive for the truth unto death. Like I said, we reading about internment camps. We might be putting them same things. We might face these same kind of afflictions. But the Lord says, strive for the truth unto death. Till there's
Mm-hmm.
no more breath in your body.
Con, right? And it reads, and the Lord shall fight for thee.
And the Lord shall fight for you. But you gotta prove that you're worthy to be fought for. You know what I'm saying? And that's how your
Mm-hmm.
faith, you show your faith through your works. You know? We're gonna all resist this new world order in every way, shape, or form. You know, we're
That's
not
right.
getting no shots, we're not getting sent to no camps. Well, they're gonna have to drag us in there, bro, most literally. We're not
Con.
gonna be led there like sheep to the slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And
Con,
this is an example, y'all see my screen, right?
Con.
con.
There's an example of a man that did just that back in World War II. His name is Fred Ku
Corey
Komatsu.
Marshlu.
Komatsu. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? How they would say it? Komatsu. But by the way, This guy, he fought against the American government while his whole family willingly went into them camps. Now, isn't that something cold hearted? Because guess what? Jake, what's the first thing Jake want to do when they come in this truth? They want to warn and tell their family what's up. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Your family gonna become your worst enemy in this truth
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day.
That's
So
right.
you gotta know what's up. Well, I'm gonna
Precept.
read. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. You want to keep reading? Cause I got some on deck for that.
Fred, hold on. Fred Korematsu was a Japanese American citizen who stood up for his civil rights during World War II when the government detained him because of his Japanese ancestry. Detained him just because he had Japanese ancestry, just like we're going to get detained just because we believe on the Lamb Yahushai. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
persecute the saints. You want to read a precept
Mm-hmm.
about?
Come Jeremiah 29:8. It says, "For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, not it says, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to their dreams, which ye shall slack which ye cause to be dreamed." Like trusting in the government, saying everything's gonna be okay, singing Kumbaya, sweet Jesus. They speak not according to this word. You know,
Right.
because a lot of people are gonna be deceived on that day.
And that was Jeremiah 29 you read?
Yeah, 29 verse 8.
Yeah. And then Jeremiah, the 28th chapter before that, talks about Hananiah, the false prophet, that said what? He went against the Lord's plan that Israel had to go into Babylon for 70
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Because, this isn't our script. This is the Lord's script. You think we want to be in captivity right now? Well, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? We better be good and little servants of the Lord and hope He
That's
just
right.
saves us when the time comes.
Can I say this
Right.
on unbeknownst to that too? Because a lot of our people were supposed to stay in Babylon and serve, and some of them were warned not to flee into Egypt, which they did, and they got destroyed for that.
Hey, what happened to Zedekiah ass?
Right.
Yeah, that's why I
He didn't
changed
want
my
to,
Exactly.
name, bro.
he didn't want to miss it.
But yeah, I got a hold on. I got a precept too. This is Matthew 24, verse 7. For
Go ahead.
nation shall rise, hold on, for nation shall rise against nation, and
Yep.
kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are beginning of sorrows, and they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Because iniquity shall be abound, love of many shall wax cold. You know.
Come.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
hold on, I got something else on. It got a little bit more on there. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So you got to endure through all this, man. That's going to happen here. Soon. In
Come.
America, in Babylon, man.
It's exactly enduring until the end, man. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll keep going on this article. It says Fred Korematsu believed that the United States decision to send Japanese Americans into internment camps during World War II was racial discrimination and a violation of the Constitution. Technically, it is.
It was.
You can't single out a group and say, "Look, we're going to deal with you harshly this way," just because people in your homeland have attacked us. I thought America was this big melting pot where we're all just Americans. It don't matter what the background is. Well, it didn't matter here, did it? And we're
Mm-hmm.
showing Jake. That's why it says what? Separate yourselves from your enemies, man. I'm supposed to sit up here and believe, walk down the street, see a Japanese guy, a Caucasian guy, and we're all Americans? No, I'm an Israelite. That Caucasian's an Edomite. That Japanese dude's an Ammonite. We all come from different bloodlines, man, tribes. The Lord is tribal.
Mm-hmm.
And the elite understand that. That's why they procreate with people in their nuclear family. They understand about bloodlines and things like this, man.
Yep.
Straight up. Anybody have something?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Let's see.
I'll keep I'll keep going because this guy talks about the conditions that he was in. This dude died in 2005,
Wow.
so they couldn't silence this guy as far as hold up because he talks about the conditions of the camps. Let me get to it. If somebody got a precept, you can read it.
Okay.
Con. Let me see. I got Revelations chapter 20 and verse 4.
Go
And
ahead.
it reads, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them which were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shah, and for the word of Yahweh, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their forehead or in their hands, and they lived and they reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. Now we want to be, man. We
Yeah.
want to endure to the end, you know. And if we got to take it to death, we'll take it to death, right?
Con.
To
We got
Wayne
to
to
be
read with Yahweh Shai, man.
Con.
kind,
We're
right? For
already
the
dead,
witness
so
of
why not?
Yahweh Shai,
Huh.
right? For the witness of Yahweh Shai, for his name, and for the word of Yahweh, absolutely.
Con.
And watch this. It says Korematsu spent his first months of detention at a horse racing track that served as an assembly center where he was forced to live in a horse stall. So you can imagine them conditions, man. And this wasn't a place that was designated, oh, this is we're gonna lock people up here. They was just using any damn thing. That's why we keep telling people your Walmarts, your Kmarts, your abandoned buildings, your grocery stores, they're gonna be internment camps. They're going to be FEMA camps. You know, they're going to get rid of all those aisles, all that produce, and you going to be sitting in there. You're going to be like a watermelon sitting in there in the damn grocery store. That's what's coming, man. So
Mm-hmm.
this dude's forced to live in a horse stall, probably a bunch of sitting next to a bunch of horse dung, man. Who knows?
Con.
It says he and his family were next transferred to a Topaz internment camp in Utah. So they're moving them all across the continental U.S. Now remember, they was from the West Coast. They moving them into Utah, and then it eventually says this guy had to end up in Detroit, Michigan, because he wasn't even after World War II was said and done. He wasn't even allowed to return to his home.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
again, we don't care about this dude. He's more than likely a heathen, but we're just showing you how this man. They want to call us all Americans and we got equal rights. All that's out the damn door if the right event happens, man.
Right. I got
Straight
a
up.
precept too.
Go ahead, out.
Con. Yeah, they want to talk about us. No, let's talk about Esau, man. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. It says, least there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
God, for them pottage of red lentils, man. It's dumbass.
Yeah, right? There's
Profane.
nobody, there's no nation as profane as the Edomites. That's why they go across spreading diseases, spreading wars, manipulating world outcomes behind the scenes, lying, casting spells through the news media, right? Okaying homosexuality, all types of madness, man.
God.
Why? Because there's least there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, right? And he's a proud and he's a bloody man. And he's a fugitive and a vagabond from justice.
That's right. And check this out. It says this location was guarded by military police and
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by barbed wire. The 6 adults in his family had to squeeze into 2 dusty barracks rooms, man. So so even if they thought like, okay, we gotta have these people on some type of lockdown. Let's put them in here, make it cold. They didn't even care to make it cozy for them. They treated them like dung, you know. So how much more when martial law gets declared in the 21st century? You think you're gonna be up in there all cozy, man? No, you ain't gonna be cozy. You're gonna be treating you like dung, man. You're gonna be a number. These people, they trust in their government way too much, and that's why the Democratic Party, excuse me, the Republican Party rebukes the Democrats all the time because they're saying, look, big government's taking over, yo. You know, in which more government just means less rights for you. That's all it means. But look, see the condition, man, of the camps, you know.
Con.
And Lord willing, we can I get Revelation 3 or 2 and 10. I don't think we read this yet, did we?
Con, I don't think so. Con, I got a precept.
Go ahead, Crowder.
This is Job 5. I'm gonna start at verse 2. It says, For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation.
See, suddenly I've cursed this habitation, man. This place is going to become a curse, right? The sword judgments of the Lord's coming. All the plagues of Revelation 16 is going to come. Lack of water, lack of resources. Even Ezra said in 2nd Esdras 15 and 16, the lack of vehicles on the earth, meaning supplies, man.
Mm-hmm.
We saw during coronavirus, everybody hitting each other over the head for paper towels and all that nonsense. That's going to be times 10.
Yep.
You know what I mean? How about this little gas shortage scare that happened like earlier in the month when nobody could even fill up at pump 6, man? People was freaking out, yo. And it was only going on for like 1 or 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that going on perpetually. Grocery stores have a weekend's worth of food, a Memorial weekend worth of food, and after that, it's over.
Yep. Verse 4. Job 5 and 4 says, For his children are far from safety, and they are cursed, or it's like they are crushed in the gate. Neither is any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robber swalloweth up their substance. It says, Through affliction, although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground, yet man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upward.
See, man is born unto trouble, man. We was all born into this life. Because why do babies cry? Because you're
Because
being
they're
brought
back in
back.
hell.
Thank you. You're being brought back to hell, yo. That's why we don't do things like celebrate our curse day. My little sister curse day was today, May 31st. She turned 26. She's all excited. And I'm just like, man, it's folly, yo. It really despise folk, man. Because how you don't
Con,
get it, but it's a good reason why they can't get it. The Most High has not chosen them, man, for nothing. You know,
con,
I'm gonna keep. Anybody have something? I'll keep going on this.
Nah.
It says in November 1942, Kuramatsu and other young camp residents were given permission to leave Utah to work. Okay, it says he received indefinite leave from internment in January 1944, though he was not permitted to go back to the West Coast. So he had to leave his whole life behind. Kuramatsu moved to Detroit, Michigan after the war ended and the camps were shut down. So these camps, they was already said and done with, shut down. He had to relocate and live his life in an area that he had never planned to ever go in. All because the government said so, man. White daddy told him to.
con.
And these things gonna happen again. Look at Revelation 2 and 10. Did we read that just now?
Uh,
Uh,
Let me check that.
Azariah dropped out because his tablet died. But it's all good.
Revelations 2 verse 10. It says, let's see.
That's a
Yeah,
sober
so
view.
some of you shall be cast into prison.
Come, keep going on 11,
This is Revelations 2, verse 11. It
right?
says, he that have an ear, let him hear.
That's the whole point. You got to have ears to hear, man.
Con. It says, what the spirits saith unto the churches, he that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death.
He that overcomes shall not be hurt of the second death, which is what? That second death, that lake of fire, when all the kingdoms of the earth is going to get that lake, that judgment, man. You know? And Yahushua, being the savior he is, he's going to swallow up death and wipe away the tears of the saints, man. Straight up.
Con.
Wipe away
Time.
all our tears, man. And that was the anniversary of all that happening, man. But, hey, let me get Jeremiah. I'm stop sharing my screen. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 18, 19.
Con.
We're,
Jeremiah.
we're warning the folk, as we should.
Yep.
But we know Jake is hard headed, as is.
Con.
So we're going to read.
Jeremiah.
Oh,
Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 19.
yep.
It says, give heed to me, O
Jeremiah said,
Lord.
oh, Snuggy, go ahead.
It says, give heed unto me, O Lord,
Right?
and hearken unto the voice of them that contend with thee.
Go ahead.
It says, shall evil be recommended,
Recom-
recompensed for good?
right. Nah, evil will never be will never be evil will never be recompensed for good. Because they don't correlate.
Come. It says, for they have digged a pit for my soul. Remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them, and to turn away thy wrath from them.
See, so we're trying to speak good for the people. Just like Jonah, when he prophesied to Nineveh, what? That king had repented and the Lord spared Nineveh. Ultimately, Jeremiah was thinking the same thing. Like he's going to warn his folk and they're going to listen and hearken and it's going to be an old happy day. Like Ice Cube said, today was a good day. No, it ain't no good days, man. Because most of Jake is hard headed. And everybody's mother in the world said, what? A hard head makes for a soft, we know.
As
Off behind. Yeah, come.
Yep. Go ahead, out.
um, it says, verse 21, therefore deliver up their children to the famine, and pour
Deliver up
out.
Deliver up their children to the famine, another sore judgment of the Most High. That's a horrible way to die, by the way, by a famine, man. A famine of water, famine of bread, you know, being in a drought, okay? No rain upon your land, no access to things that can sustain your life. A slow, painful death where your body eats itself. A sore judgment of the Most High. See, in Jeremiah, didn't he just say, what? I've talked to them to try to get them to follow me, in which you're not following us, you're following Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because we're just reading his words. But then Jeremiah said, look, let them be delivered up to the famine then, man.
Right.
Deliver their children up to the famine, man. You know, small little babies, man. That was in the curses of Deuteronomy, too. As
Well,
when we was going through the first beast, tells you in Baruch what? Women was eating their children, sodding
mm-hmm.
them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Making
I
stew.
got I got a preset.
Go ahead.
Kind you want me
Amos
to
8 and
finish
11.
this?
Oh, Snaggy, my fault.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
So Jeremiah 18 and 21.
We're gonna read
Therefore,
to 23.
come. Therefore deliver up their children to the famine, and pour out their blood by the force of the sword,
Yep.
and let their wives be let their wives be bereaved of their children, and says, and be widows, and let their men be put to death.
and let their men be put to death.
It says, let their young men be slain by the sword in battle.
See that?
Verse 22. Let a cry be heard from their houses when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly upon them. For they have digged a pit to take me and hid snares by my feet.
And see, so Jeremiah said, yo, these people are hit or digging a pit for me, and I'm trying to do well by warning them, man. Well, you know what? Let a troop come upon them suddenly and take them then, man. Because they don't want to listen. Okay? That's why we don't gotta waste our time worrying why Jake don't get it. They're gonna be destroyed, bro. And we don't care about it, man. Straight up.
That's right.
Verse 23. It says, yet the Lord thou knowest all their counsel against me to slay me. Forgive not their iniquity, neither blot out their sin from thy sight,
Yep.
but let them be overthrown before thee. Deal thus with them in the time of thine anger.
So he said, thou know all their counsel, their unwise, filthy counsel to slay the prophets. Tells you in the New Testament, I believe Yahushua said, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that slayest and killest the prophets, yo."
Con. Yep.
And that's going, yo, they want to slay and kill us, man. All because of the testimony that we have of our Heavenly Father and His Son, man. The true testimony, the true living water, man. Not this Christian nonsense, yo. Like I said, a bunch of Hamites down here tonight, walking around with signs, or earlier today, trying to get you to follow Jesus with no Bible in their hand. The Lord Yahushua even said, if you believe on me, as the scripture has said.
That's
And how
right.
we're reading in the scripture, what? Bring a troop suddenly upon them, man, without warning. But the Lord is gracious enough to at least give you a warning through His servants, the prophets, yo. And what do? They look at us, they hiss at us, you know, but it's not in vain. It's never in vain. We understand that.
Con, I got a precept too. Let me get it. This is Second Chronicles 36 and 16. It says, but they mocked the messengers of Yahweh and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, so there was no remedy. Woo. See?
That's how it's
Yeah,
gonna be in these last days. It's gonna be like, dang, Jake don't exist. Jake gonna get wiped out. Damn man. You know that
because
remnant.
he mocked the, because
Jake
they
getting
mocked the
whacked.
brothers.
Gone. Hey, your call with your background.
Con. But like I was saying, the scripture was saying they mocked the brothers, man, and they misused the prophets, man, and they killed them, man. All for what? Because they was telling them what thus saith Yahweh. And I got one more precept I'm gonna read. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 9 and verse 13. Thou comest down also upon Mount Sinai and speakest with them from heaven, and givest them right judgment and true laws, good statutes and commandments. See, the Most High gave us good statutes and good laws, good commandments for us to live by. He wants us to choose these commandments so that we can live, man, and not die. Right? Because the wages of sin is death. Right? But the gift of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach through Yahweh is what? Eternal life.
That's right.
Right? And that's why people, they don't understand
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else? That we could probably leave it there.
Right. Yeah, Khan. I got nothing else, Doc.
All right. Well, hey, Shabbat Shalom, number one.
Khan. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
All praise to Yahweh Shim Yashai. Hey, man, what we talking about is going to come to pass, bro. You know? But again, you just hold fast. We looking for the goodness sheep. Because just like what it tell you in Luke, The net was casted, and the good and the bad was caught, man. Like, see, you got
Right.
scoffers on here, bro. They're the bad. We're looking for the good only. And the angels is going to sift
Right.
at the end. But then shall the end come, man. Hey, but with that, we're going to give all praise to Yahweh.
Oh,
By Hashem,
Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yeah, what's up?
So Shalom to all the elders and Nakium. Right? And through thy precepts, I get understanding.
I get understanding.
Shalom.
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 Shalom.